Well, after a hearty breakfast, I'm going to go to Kings Canyon for a look. Now I've got about I think it's about a 38k drive to the actual car park at the national park, and then I plan to do a Kings Creek walk, which theoretically is about an hour. Relatively easy apparently. The rim walk is a 6 kilometre walk. I don't think I really want to do 6 kilometres walking. Anyway, Clark, Aboriginal cultural experience you can have down there. Yay! A crazy person riding a bicycle. Fortunately, with the blue shorts, we can see them on this narrow road. That's the Peterman Ranges, I believe, over there, which is basically where we're headed. Well, this will be a first for me because I passed this particular turnoff a few years back, and I never came in to the canyon. There's a backpacker. Right here, keen. Anyway, this is the road into the Kings Canyon car park, where we can do the rim walk or a number of different walks, but I'm going to take the easy one. Okay, so it looks like we're coming in the car park. Gee, my windscreen is filthy and I washed it yesterday. Crikey. Look at the sides, look at the sides. Car parking, bus, caravan parking, coach drop-off. Oh yes, okay. There's a lot of people here. Okay, we'll do the loop around the buses. There's the signs for the safety information and the walks. Okay, toilets, yay, buses only. It's steep. I should have came in the first place, shouldn't I? Alright. We'll park away from the sun. Like there, next to that guy. That'll do. Okay. We're at the Watarka National Park. And that's the information board. We can walk through the entrance here, I think, and see which walk we're going to do. We are doing the Kings Creek walk. 2 k's, 1 hour return. Follow the road markers. As I began this walk, I didn't realise, but my microphone had actually stopped working on the GoPro and also on the Canon camera, which I have strung around my neck there, you'll notice. So I'll do my best to narrate what was happening here. There were 2 parts. This is the entrance to the rim walk, and as you can see, there is a little path going up that hill, and that is a lot steeper than you would imagine. And that particular walk there takes you around the edge of the canyon, which is a 6 kilometer walk. And I was not really all that keen on doing a 6 kilometer walk, even though it was quite early in the morning and the temperature was quite cool. I thought it was just going to be a bit strenuous, and it was that climb, because you can see it goes right up onto that ridge and all the way around, and then it climbs up a little bit higher, and I just wasn't prepared to do that. The walk that I did decide on was the Kings Creek walk, which was, I think, 1 kilometre in and back again, to the head of the canyon, in a sense, where there is the two sides of the canyon walls converge. And this is the path. You can see that there's a lot of nice little shady bits and seats and things in there. Here I'm sort of waffling along. I don't know what I was saying there, and doesn't really matter, I guess. But this was quite a nice little path, and interspersed with this I will put in footage that I actually took with the Canon camera, also not knowing that whatever I might be saying on that footage was not being recorded. And this was a continuing problem for the rest of this trip and I only discovered it I think a few days later, because I don't actually look at the footage after I've taken it. I accept that it should be in the can, so to speak. As you walk down the path towards the head of the canyon, the walls start to come in on you from both sides, and I think that's what I was trying to show here as I was walking down that path there. You see that it starts to get a little bit narrow. Each side of you becomes a little bit narrower, and then you get to the end of the canyon walk, the Kings Creek walk itself, and there is a wonderful platform where you can actually look. You'll see that in a couple of minutes, of course. Although it's not a very strenuous walk, you can see that there are a number of rocks and obstacles that you really have to climb. Although I must admit, the rangers do a wonderful job in creating paths that are pretty easy to negotiate. I must admit, there's a little sign coming up with a plaque. It tells you about the flora and the fauna that you may see, and all in all, it's very cool down in this particular little glade, as you can see. And there's that illustration of the canyon wall sort of starting to come in on us. you can see now that we're basically at the head of the canyon. These are the two canyon walls, and you did notice probably in the last preceding scenes a little bit of wind noise. Somehow or other there's this intermittent fault, and I think it's in the lead of the microphone, which I wasn't aware of, and I didn't do any narration over the top, but you can actually hear the wind whistling through the trees, which is quite nice anyway. And just coming up in the next scene are some sculptures at the head of the canyon, which is where this footage is taken from, where there are small sculptures of birds and lizards and other little things which just add to the ambience of the place, I guess you'd call it. So having been at the head of the canyon now, we'll make our way back from whence we came, and you'll see the sun obviously changes its position in the sky, and you start getting the colours. Because as I say, I took this walk fairly early in the morning, and I think it probably took me an hour and a half or something to get there. But as you're walking back, you start to see the changing colours, which are really, really magnificent. As you can see there in that shot there, the sun catching on that goldy red rock. It's absolutely beautiful out there, which is why it keeps attracting me back all the time. I've got to go up north. Now I'm talking about my microphone, and I wasn't aware of it, but within the next 2 or 3 scenes, suddenly the microphone comes back on and it's working, so I take up the narration from where I stopped, although in these previous scenes I don't know what I had been saying. But these little technical difficulties you often get on trips like I take. The narration may be out of sequence too, because I did add these scenes in and I wasn't aware at what time I took each scene. I must say, our National Park Service do a wonderful job when you look at some of these facilities. I mean, the work that's gone into making these paths as safe as possible for old fogies like me, so that I don't need to lift my feet as much and climb. Look at that. Oh, it's magnificent. I never get enough of this. I really don't. It's just breathtaking. Doesn't matter where you go in Australia, in the centre of Australia, it's like this. This is where you see how ancient this land is. When you see the build-up, all those striations, you know, how many years does each one of these things represent? Layer upon layer upon layer. Now, after we've looked at the layer upon layer of rocks, we've just plunged into darkness. No, it's not dark, it's just nice and shady, and it's very cool. It's wonderful. Yeah. Bushstone curlew sign. Don't know. I haven't seen any. Oh, there's always got to be one idiot yelling out, doesn't there? And we're going to end this walk here at this viewing platform, because apparently now we're going to see the full magnificence of the gorge itself. Have a look at this. Oh wow, oh yeah. This is worth the walk. I'm nearly at the end of this, what is it, Kings Creek walk. True to what they said, it is only roughly an hour. So it's been very nice though, lovely walk. Nice and cool in this little area here too, luckily for me. Oh, I can't get enough of it. I'm going to have some tricky editing when I get home, because I've been taking Canon footage, GoPro footage, and I'll have to mix them together in sequence, and I can't remember how many, but I'll work it out. Listen. I took a picture of this before. Apparently it's a holly grevillea. I wondered about the leaves because I thought they look like a holly. And they are. This is Michael from France, and I passed him this morning on our way to Watarka, the national park here, and he's travelling on his bicycle, been 3 months, and he's done 6,000 kilometres. Is that correct, Michael? Yeah? And he's such a fit man, he's going to attempt that rim walk. And he says that's nothing.
I'm not the only one.
No, he's not the only one.
I'm the only one on the road by bike.
Yeah.
But doing this rim walk, it's...
Yeah, excellent.
20 people.
And he averages about 180 kilometres. 80 kilometres. 80 kilometres a day on his bicycle.
No, the average is 120. Yesterday was 180.
Whew. So yesterday was a good day.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Michael from France, thank you very much for contributing to my little video, and I wish you the best of luck and a very, very safe journey. Watch out for idiots driving on the road. Thank you so much. Right, this is the car park in Kings Park, and the reason I'm doing this is I've just had to change another SD card, and I want to make sure this one works. I took this one out of the trail camera. Right, I've changed the SD card. I kept getting messages. I put a 128 gig SD card in there on the 8th at Warrakurna. Surely I haven't used up 128 gigs of data on that card. But I kept getting messages. I checked it and it was still recording, but to be safe I put a new one in. I took it out of the trail camera that I brought that I'm probably not going to use, and I put another 128 gig one in, so that'll be interesting to see how long that goes for. I just had a very interesting conversation in the car park there. 2 Chinese ladies approached me and said, "Are you going to Uluru?" And I said, "Oh, I'm afraid I'm not." And it turned out that they had a car accident yesterday. And I passed the car this morning thinking it was just another wreck, which I will point it out to you when I get back there. But first of all, before I do anything else, I will probably end up at the Kathleen Creek walk, which is another small walk which I want to do. But it's a hire car. They're from Hong Kong, and they're due to fly to Cairns before leaving to go back to Hong Kong. And apparently they are responsible for arranging for the car to be towed. And I would have thought that their travel insurance and all of that, but apparently, you know, the company that they hired their car from is a place called Dollar, I think they said, and they have to arrange for the car to be transported somewhere, probably to Alice Springs, I'd say, to get it repaired. And oh, this guy's turning, that'd be right. So they're actually approaching people in that car park. I don't know how they got there, because they were staying last night in the resort back here, which is only a few k's back, and they said that somebody in a camper van was going to go down to Uluru and would take them, but they were doing a walk. So Anyway, I would have loved to have been able to help them, but I can't. And they always seem to want to belt along. You know, I mean, they were Chinese and they obviously aren't used to driving in big open spaces. They said they hit a cow or a kangaroo or something, but I didn't see anything on the side of the road when I passed this morning. But anyway, them's life's lessons to tourists who come out to Australia and think that perhaps they can do everything in 3 days. Not saying that they were speeding, but you got to take it easy out here before we stop and have a look at the wreck. We'll go and see Kathleen Springs and do that walk first. .1080 poisoning here. Okay. Oh, that's normal. Stays, penalties apply. Where are we going? Keep left? Okay, of course we are. What? Car, caravan parking, perch parking. Where's the walk? These people look like they've done the walk, so we'll attempt it. They say this is wheelchair accessible, but I'd hate to be pushing a wheelchair up here. Come on. This is also part of the Giles track. 22 kilometres one way, 2 days. Oh, it's pretty spectacular here. Springs, spears and serpents. I guess we're heading over in that direction, where there's a cleft in the hill. And this is where I've been so far. Whew. Tell you what, this flynet is really good. This is the El Cheapo one, better than the one I lost, which is still in the car somewhere. this lovely seat under this tree and listen to the birds after these people have gone. So, here we are at the end of the track. Being protected by the guardian of the waterhole. Doesn't that look inviting for a swim? Well, what a little oasis this is, and well worth the 1¼ kilometre walk in. Magnificent. What a beautiful country we have. This is obviously the overflow from there because the input seems to be on the rocks where we've just been above that pool, and then this is the creek. Anyway, now we're heading out. water the stock. It seems that every half hour or so the colours change. Well, they do change because the sun changes its position, or the earth changes its position in relation to the sun, and you get different colours, different shadows. It's beautiful. Once again my microphone decides that it doesn't want to work anymore, but here we are at the end of the trail of Kathleen Springs, and over in the distance behind the dunny toilet is the beast waiting to take me away. This is where the Chinese ladies had the accident, and they hit a cow, and the cow is over here. So they have to arrange towing and what have you for it. That's right. Anyway, this is the and they whacked into the tree after the
I don't think the tree would have done much.
Anyway.
Poor old cow's dead.
Oh, that's to be
Well,
expected.
those ladies were very lucky, let me tell you. That's a big cow, and then they hit a tree, and the I imagine it was it might have been the passenger. I don't know who was driving, but the girl had a big moose on her lip, not a moose, but you know what I mean, and abrasions around the side of her face. But apart from that, they were both ambulatory and uninjured basically, so they're very, very lucky. And you know, I don't know what time they were travelling, and it may have been at night. You know, tourists, they come over here, they have no idea of how far things are. Google Maps you don't believe, because that's just bullshit. They sort of, if a place is 100 k's away, they'll tell you it's going to take you an hour, but it could be on rocky roads that you're doing walking pace. So they may have been in a rush to get to Uluru or Ulara, and you know, might have been sunset last night, and then bang, cow just walks on the road. They don't see it. Curtains. So tourists, take care. Even you strongos that pull caravans at 120 kilometres an hour, you're dicing with death. There's the helicopter. I was talking to the pilot. I had breakfast with the pilot this morning. He's from New Zealand. Lovely young fella. Okay, we're back home for the day. for the